A very good morning to you and welcome to the Morning Outlook Report. I'm Rachel Jones reporting live from Kalkine TV Sydney studios. Now, the Australian share market is expected to extend its losses this morning. According to the latest SPI futures, the ASX 200 is likely to open 97 points lower. That's 1.35% lower. At the closing bell yesterday, the S&P ASX 200 was 1.2% lower, or 85 points lower at 7,121. The best performing sector yesterday was the energy sector. That was up 0.5%. The worst performing sector was real estate investment trust, down 4.2%. The best performing stock was Polynovo. Their shares closed 3.3% higher at 93 cents. The worst performing stock was Novonix. Their shares closed 12.3% lower at $4.06. It was followed by shares in Imugene and Chalice Mining. Now, moving on to some business news from this morning now. And global investment manager, the Pendal Group's revenues rose 31% in the half year, ending in March, to $362.6 million, with underlying profit after tax up 59% versus the prior corresponding period, and statutory NPAT up 8% versus the prior corresponding period. Now, these results were supported by a full 6-month contribution from US-based investment manager Thompson, Segal and Walmsley, which was acquired by Pendal in the second half of the 2021 financial year. Interim dividend of 21 cents per share, that's up 24% versus the prior corresponding period. And pharmaceutical company CLINUVEL today will start treatment of vitiligo patients with its drug afamelanotide under a new study protocol. The company has received positive reviews from the Institutional Review Board for the study, which will be conducted at a North American vitiligo expert center. The vitiligo is a depigmentation disorder characterized by the chronic and progressive loss of functional epidermal melanocytes, which often leads to disfiguration and psychosocial distress. And Imugene has received Human Research Ethics Committee approval to start a phase 2 clinical trial of its cancer vaccine called HER-Vaxx here in Australia. This approval is confirmation the company has completed pre-clinical safety and efficacy in order to start its next HER-Vaxx clinical trial. The trial will assess the safety and efficacy of HER-Vaxx in combination with chemotherapy or Pembro in certain cancer patients. Well, now it's time for a very short break, but stay tuned for more news set to affect your trading day.
Hi there, James Preston for Kalkine TV. Are you into gaming and virtual reality? Does AI and the endless possibilities it entails capture your interest? Or are you constantly trawling through the web to try and discover the latest updates and innovations in the tech space? Well, let us do the work for you. From the latest product launches to shocking affairs on the World Wide Web, exclusive interviews and information about the top companies like Apple and Google to brand new tech startups vying for your attention. Kalkine's Tech Beat has the latest in what matters in the world of technology. Join me every single Thursday on The Tech Beat, exclusive to Kalkine TV.
And welcome back to the Morning Outlook Report. Now, the Australian dollar fell to 69.45 US cents. That's its lowest since mid-2020. Stock indices around the world fell sharply, with oil prices sinking around 6%, and the US dollar finished just off a 20-year high as investors fled risk and sought safe havens due to worries over inflation and slower global economic growth. Over on Wall Street, the Dow Jones fell 2%, the S&P 500 dropped 3.2%, and the Nasdaq crashed 4.3%. First time since March 31st, 2021, the S&P 500 closed below 4,000. Now, the Nasdaq's top for the session was its lowest since November 2020 in a sell-off led by mega cap growth stocks. Both the S&P and Nasdaq on Friday posted their fifth straight week of declines, their longest losing streaks in roughly a decade. Over in Europe, the Stoxx 50 fell 2.8%, the FTSE dipped 2.3%, the CAC declined 2.8%, and the DAX ended 2.2% lower. MSCI's gauge of stocks across the globe fell 3.09% on Monday after hitting its lowest level since December 2020, while emerging stock markets lost 1.63%. Now, oil prices fell as coronavirus lockdowns in China, the top oil importer, fed worries about energy demand. WTI crude recently fell 6.45% to $102.69 a barrel. Brent was at $105.43. And the precious metal of gold was sold off after US bond yields rose. Gold fell and Bitcoin plunged to its lowest level since July 2021. Spot gold fell 1.6% to $1,852 an ounce. US gold futures fell 0.94% to $1,857 an ounce. Meanwhile, in cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin fell 8.9% to trade at $31,250. Well, that's all for our morning report here on Kalkine TV. Have a great day trading and stay tuned for more market updates and economic news live throughout the day. This is Rachel signing off for now.